If you have recently lost your husband, I want you to pause for a moment. Take a deep breath with me. You are not alone, and you do not have to figure everything out right now. In fact, there are some very important decisions that you should not rush into, no matter how strong the pressure feels or how much the world seems to expect you to move on. Losing your life partner is like losing a part of yourself. The routines, the quiet glances, the unspoken understanding, all of it changes in an instant. And in the middle of that pain, people often feel the urge to make quick choices. Sometimes it is out of fear. Sometimes it is just to feel like they are doing something. But I want to gently remind you, this is not the time for fast answers. This is the time to take care of your heart. This video will walk you through 5 major life decisions that you should not rush after the loss of your husband. These are choices that can wait. And sometimes, waiting is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. You're not just watching a video. You're sitting in a space where you are seen, heard, and supported. So let's begin. Let's take this one gentle step at a time, together. Decision number 1, selling the house. Let's talk about one of the first big decisions many people feel pushed to make after the loss of a husband, selling the house. In the quiet days that follow a loss, the home can feel like too much, too big, too quiet, too full of memories that hurt. You might walk into the bedroom and feel like you can barely breathe. You might look at the kitchen table and still see his coffee mug sitting there, even when it's not. There is an ache in the space that used to feel like comfort. And for many, the instinct is to escape it, to move away from the pain by changing the environment. It is a completely human reaction. You might also hear voices around you, family members or friends, saying things like, "You should sell the house," or "You don't need all this space anymore," or "It's time for a fresh start." They usually mean well. They want to help you feel better. But grief does not move on a schedule, and the decision to leave the place where your life was built together, that decision is one of the deepest, most emotional choices a person can face. So here's the advice. Plain and gentle. Do not rush to sell your house. Not in the first few weeks. Not even in the first few months, unless there is an urgent reason. Here is why. In the early stages of grief, your heart and your mind are not fully connected. You are trying to survive, not strategize. Making a major life change during this vulnerable time can lead to regret later, especially if you feel like you made the choice just to escape the pain, not because it was truly right for you. Your home is more than walls and windows. It is the place where you laughed, argued, danced, cried, celebrated birthdays, decorated Christmas trees, and held each other close during long nights. That space holds energy. It holds memories. And while those memories may hurt right now, raw and sharp like broken glass, there may come a time when they bring comfort, not just sorrow. You might find that what feels overwhelming today becomes a source of peace tomorrow. The living room, where you once felt his absence so deeply, may eventually become the place where you feel his presence most strongly. Sometimes, grief has a way of turning pain into presence, but only if we give it time. And here's something else to consider. When people sell their home too quickly after losing a loved one, they often find themselves in a new place that doesn't feel like home. It feels unfamiliar, isolated, and that can compound the grief instead of helping it. What was meant to be a fresh start can become another layer of loss. This is not to say you should never move. For some, eventually, a new environment really does bring healing. But the key word is eventually. Not immediately, not under pressure, not while your heart is still in shock. So give yourself permission to wait. Even if people around you are urging action, remember, this is your life, your process, your healing. You are allowed to take your time, and if the house truly becomes too much to manage, physically, financially, or emotionally, Seek help. Talk to a counselor. Speak with a trusted advisor or family member. Walk through the pros and cons slowly with someone who will listen more than they speak. You do not need to make a final decision while your heart is still bleeding. Right now, the most important thing you can do is care for yourself. That means resting. That means crying when you need to. That means letting your home wrap around you, not force you to act before you are ready. Remember, staying in the house for now does not mean you are stuck in the past. It simply means you are allowing space for the future to come into focus, gently, slowly, and in your own time. You are not just a widow. You are a whole person learning how to live again after loss. And every decision, including this one, deserves patience, compassion, and care. Decision number 2, making big financial moves or investments. Now let's talk about money, one of the most overwhelming and confusing parts of life after loss. When a husband passes away, especially if he was the one who primarily handled the finances, you may suddenly feel like you've been handed a pile of papers written in a language you don't speak. Bank accounts, insurance claims, retirement funds, bills you didn't even know existed. It can feel like standing in the middle of a storm, unsure which direction is safe. And during this time, you may hear people, even well-meaning ones, telling you, you need to invest that life insurance payout, or you should move your money now before it loses value, or don't let it just sit there. Maybe someone even offers to help you with an investment or urges you to buy something quickly, like a condo, a car, or even a new home. But here's the truth you need to hold on to right now. You do not have to do anything quickly with your money. In fact, you should not. Grief clouds judgment. That is not a flaw. It is a fact. Your heart is broken. Your mind is in survival mode, and making fast, emotional decisions with large amounts of money can be risky, sometimes tragically so. There are far too many stories of widows being taken advantage of in their most vulnerable state. They trusted someone they thought had their best interests at heart, a financial advisor, a relative, even a friend, only to discover later that their savings were lost, or that the deal they agreed to didn't actually protect them. So, let's slow it down. The smartest financial move you can make right now is not making a move at all. Let the money sit in a safe account. Let the bills get organized. Let your heart catch up before your wallet takes a step. If you do not already have one, find a fiduciary financial advisor. And I want to emphasize that word, fiduciary. That means they are legally required to act in your best interest, not theirs. Avoid anyone who pressures you, who speaks in confusing jargon, or who makes you feel small for asking questions. You deserve respect and clarity, nothing less. This is also not the time to loan out large amounts of money, even to people you care about. It may be tempting to feel generous or helpful in the middle of your grief, especially if someone says, I know you just received that insurance check and I could really use a little help. But remember, this money is meant to support you, not to ease someone else's burden. Not right now. Take the time to understand what you have. Ask questions. Write things down. Get a second opinion. If you're unsure whether something is a good idea, sleep on it. Or better yet, wait 30 days. If it's truly a wise decision, it will still be wise next month. And about investments, yes, they matter. But there will be time for that later, when your head is clearer and your emotions are steadier. Right now, your number one financial goal is preservation, not growth. Keep what you have safe. Avoid risks. Keep your footing steady. Here's something simple and powerful you can say when someone is pushing you to make a quick decision. Thank you, but I'm not making any major financial choices right now. I need time to process things. That sentence is enough. You owe no one an explanation beyond that. This time in your life is not about transactions. It's about transition. And every transition deserves time, space, and a gentle pace. Money is emotional. It is tied to memory. It is tied to trust. And after losing someone you shared your entire life with, it is okay. It is more than okay to move slowly. You do not have to figure it all out in 1 week or even in 1 month. You are doing enough just by waking up each day and breathing through the pain. So give yourself permission to wait, permission to ask for help, and the wisdom to know who to ask. Let your money rest in a safe place while you find your new footing. You're strong, you are smart, and you are capable of managing your finances in your own time, on your own terms. Decision number 3. What to do with his belongings. There is something sacred about the things he left behind. His jacket hanging on the hook by the door. His shoes still tucked under the bed. That old flannel shirt he always wore on chilly mornings. The scent of his cologne still faint in the closet, like a whisper that refuses to fade. These are not just objects. They are pieces of memory. And now you may be wondering, what am I supposed to do with all of this? Let me say something clearly and with care. You do not have to give anything away right now. Not his shirts, not his watch, not his books, or his favorite coffee mug. Not until you are ready. Not because someone tells you it's time. Not because you feel pressured to move on. People around you might mean well when they say things like, "It'll help to clear things out," or "It's time to start fresh." But grief does not run on a timeline, and healing is not something you can force by cleaning out a closet. Sometimes people rush to donate or discard a loved one's things because it feels like the only way to escape the pain. But later, sometimes much later, they feel regret. A sweater they wish they had kept, a letter they wish they had read one more time, a pair of glasses, a pair of socks, a simple keepsake that held more weight than they realized. So here's the truth. There is no need to hurry. It is perfectly okay to live with his belongings for a while, weeks, months, even longer. To let them sit exactly where he left them. To feel his presence in those small, familiar things. That is not being stuck in the past. That is being gentle with your present. Sometimes, the shirt hanging in the closet becomes a form of comfort. Something you touch on your hardest days, just to feel close to him. Sometimes, sitting in his chair with a cup of tea brings a kind of peace that nothing else can offer. These items can be companions in your grief, not obstacles to your healing. And when, and only when, you feel ready, you can begin to make thoughtful decisions, not all at once. Maybe you start by packing away just a few things. Maybe you make a memory box. One drawer, one shelf, one small step at a time. And even then, you can keep as much or as little as you need. Here's something that may help. Give yourself categories. What do I want to keep close? What can I store for now, to decide later? What am I ready to give away with love? And remember, it is okay to change your mind. Grief isn't linear. What feels right one day might not the next. That's normal. You can also invite someone you trust to sit with you while you sort. Someone who won't rush you, won't push you. Someone who can listen while you share stories as you hold each item in your hands. Because this is not just sorting through stuff. This is honoring a life. This is a quiet kind of love. If you choose to give something away, you might find comfort in donating to a cause he cared about, or passing a special item on to a grandchild or a friend. You can write a note to go with it. Share the story, the memory, the meaning. That way, a piece of his story continues. And if you decide to keep it all for now, that is okay too. There is no right way to do this. Only your way. The things he left behind are more than material. They are threads in the fabric of the life you built together. Some of them will always belong with you. not because you're holding on to the past, but because they're part of your story, part of your love. So take your time, be gentle with yourself, and let your heart guide the pace. You are not alone in this. Millions of women have stood where you stand now, holding a shirt or a book or a set of keys, unsure what to do next. And many have found that in time, the answer comes quietly, softly, with love. Decision number 4, moving closer to family. After losing a husband, one of the first things family often says is, "Come live near us. You shouldn't be alone." And maybe they are right. But maybe, just maybe, it is not time to decide that yet. The idea of moving closer to your children, your grandchildren, or siblings can sound like a comfort, a safety net, a new beginning surrounded by familiar voices. And in some cases, it truly is a beautiful decision that leads to deeper connection and renewed purpose. But the timing is everything. You are still grieving. Your heart is still learning how to function in this new, unfamiliar rhythm of life without your partner. And in the middle of that grief, your mind is searching for something steady, something that feels like forward motion. Moving often seems like the answer. A change of scenery, a fresh start. But here's something important to remember. A new zip code will not fix a broken heart. Grief follows you. It does not stay behind when you pack up the boxes. And sometimes, people move too quickly, only to find themselves in a place that doesn't feel like home, surrounded by loved ones, but feeling more alone than ever. Before making this decision, ask yourself, am I moving towards something that feels right for me? Or am I running away from pain I'm afraid to face here? Do I feel a sense of peace when I imagine this move? Am I being honest about what I need right now, not what others want for me? The truth is, people mean well. They love you. They worry about you. They want to feel like they're doing something to help. And inviting you closer is one way they try to do that. But you are allowed to say, "Thank you. I just need some time to figure out what's best for me." Living near family can be wonderful, but only if you are ready for it. Only if the idea brings you calm, not pressure. Only if you feel like you are choosing it, not being swept into it. Here is a gentle suggestion. Instead of making a permanent move right away, try visiting for a few weeks. Stay with them. Walk the neighborhood. Sit with the quiet. Notice how your body feels. Notice what your heart says. You do not need to uproot your life before you've had a chance to breathe where you are. Also ask, what support systems do I already have here? Friends, neighbors, church groups, doctors, the people and places that know you. Those things matter more than we realize, especially when we're fragile. And if the place you live now holds memories of him, it may also hold you. The version of you who built a life. The routines that still hold meaning. That may be painful now, but in time, that pain may shift. What hurts today may someday feel like sacred ground. You're not required to prove anything to anyone. You're allowed to not know yet. You're allowed to stay still and let the answer come in its own time. Because here's the truth. Moving is not just a physical change. It is an emotional shift. It requires energy, the very energy you may not have right now. Grief is a full-time experience. Be careful not to overload your heart with too many transitions at once. So take your time, take your space, and trust that if moving is truly right, the clarity will come, not from fear or pressure, but from peace. You have permission to wait. And remember, the people who love you most will understand, if they truly want what's best for you, they will give you the room to heal in your own way. You have survived something unthinkable. You do not need to carry the added weight of rushed decisions. Wherever you are right now, that's where healing begins. And wherever life leads next, that is your choice, when you are ready. Decision number 5, starting a new relationship. let's talk about something that many widows carry quietly in their hearts, even if they don't speak it out loud: the question of whether or not to love again. It's a thought that might surprise you, or even scare you, in the months or years after your husband passes. One day, after all the numbness and all the tears, there may come a moment when you notice the loneliness a little more, the silence a little deeper, and you may wonder, am I allowed to want companionship again? The answer is yes, but the bigger question is when. And the gentle truth is, you do not need to rush into a new relationship, not to fill a space, not to stop the sadness, and certainly not to meet someone else's expectations. Grief is not a vacancy. It's not something to replace with a new person. It is love with nowhere to go. It is the echo of a shared life. It deserves to be honored, not patched over. Some people may say, it's time to get back out there, or you're still young, you should meet someone, or he wouldn't want you to be alone. And maybe they're right. Maybe someday you will want to share your life again. But here's what matters most. Let the next chapter begin when your heart is truly ready, not when your loneliness gets too loud. You see, being lonely is not the same as being ready for love. It's natural to crave connection, someone to talk to over dinner, someone to hold your hand, someone to check in before bed. But deep love requires deep presence. And if your heart is still tangled in grief, you may not be ready to fully open it again. That's not a flaw. That's human. Sometimes what we really need is companionship, not romance. A friend, a community, a shared activity. Something to make the days feel less long, without the pressure of emotional commitment. And that's okay too. If and when you do decide to explore a relationship again, take it slow. Listen to your inner voice. Don't compare this new connection to the love you had, because it won't be the same. It can't be. That love was yours, unique, sacred. What comes next will be different, not better, not worse, just different. And if you never feel the desire to be with someone again, that's okay too. You're not unfinished without a partner. You're not incomplete. You're still whole, still valuable, still deeply loved, with or without romance. Here's something you can gently say to yourself or to others when the question comes up. I'm giving myself time. If love finds me again, I'll know. But for now, I'm focused on healing. You owe no one an explanation. Your heart is your own. Love after loss is possible. But so is living a beautiful, meaningful life on your own, filled with purpose, peace, and connection in new and surprising ways. And if a new relationship does bloom someday, it should feel like a gift, not a rescue. You're not broken. You're not waiting to be saved. You are rebuilding, day by day, with strength, with grace, and with deep wisdom. Whatever you choose, whenever you choose it, let it come from love, not from fear. Love for the life you shared, love for the woman you are becoming, and love for the life that still stretches out ahead of you, full of possibility. You're allowed to want joy again. You're allowed to feel love again. You're allowed to say, not yet, or never, or maybe one day. And no matter what, your story is not over. It's just changing. And that, in itself, is a quiet kind of hope. If you've made it this far in the video, I just want to pause and say something simple, but important. You are doing better than you think. Grief doesn't look like progress. It doesn't move in straight lines. Some days, getting out of bed feels like a victory. Other days, the smallest memory knocks the wind out of you. And that's okay. You've just walked through 5 of the biggest decisions a person can face after losing a husband, and you're still here, listening, thinking, breathing. That means something. That is strength. You don't have to be brave every minute. You don't have to make every choice today. You're allowed to go slow, to change your mind, to wait. You're allowed to let the quiet be quiet and let the answers come when they're ready. If no one has told you this lately, you are not failing. You are grieving. And grief is a form of love that has nowhere to go, so it shows up in tears, in memories, in moments of deep stillness. And all of it is valid. There is no award for rushing through the pain. There is no deadline for healing. You're not behind. You're human. So here's what I hope you take away from this space. You don't have to make life's biggest decisions in the middle of your hardest season. You can take your time. You can say, not yet. You can say, I don't know. You can say, I'm not ready. And when you are ready, for change, for movement, for new beginnings, you'll know. Not because someone told you, but because you felt it in your own time, in your own way. Let this video be a reminder that you are not walking through this alone. Somewhere out there, others are sitting with the same questions, the same silence, the same ache, and in some quiet, powerful way, we're walking this path together. If this message touched your heart, please share it with someone who might need it. A friend, a sister, a neighbor. You never know who's carrying the same kind of quiet pain. And if you ever need to hear this again, come back. This space will be here for you, full of calm, full of care, full of hope. You are still here. You are still standing. You are still loved. Take one breath, one choice, one day at a time.